Step-by-step rebrand that saved Gunna. Me personally, I like Gunna music. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I like his old music. His new music, I feel like it's good, but it ain't all the way my cup of tea. I know good music, and it's still good music. And I like Gunna. Like, did he snitch? In my opinion, I don't know. I'm gonna say no, because I never really got the whole like hood or street vibe from him. So I really can't say he snitched, because if you a civilian and you not like that type of person, I don't think it's snitching. But that's my opinion. Y'all comment what y'all think. Do y'all think he snitched or not? I don't think so. Let's go ahead and get into the video.
Has been running around trying to destroy everything he's built. Gunna took the classy, silent approach while continuing to position himself as a focused, independent, and disciplined human. And guess what? It's working. We've all been focused on the drama surrounding the YSL situation, but Gunna was locked in on a 3-step formula to set himself up for success, regardless of what some of the industry might think of him. I'm about to break down the exact framework.
I will say him losing all that weight really made him look like a different person. This should be an example that when you take your health serious, it changes a lot about your life. I just started working out for real, and I do feel a big difference. He's an example. And I seen him in concert before he was famous, back when he was chubby. He do not look anything the same. This man changed his whole life around. Shout out to Gunna for real.
How you can use this same formula to completely transform how people see your brand, whether you're an artist, entrepreneur, or just trying to level up your own personal brand. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Roy, and my aim is to make a living off of studying personal brands and the content creation space. I'm super excited for this video because Gunna and his team have been running a straight masterclass on repositioning over the past 2 years, and it's a great example of how to reposition yourself and set yourself up for success after a crisis. So if you're into personal branding or the content creation space, make sure you smack that like button and subscribe so you can stick around for videos like this. So as we get through this presentation in this video, you're going to see the word masterclass a lot, because again, that's exactly what Gunna and his team have been doing, putting on an absolute masterclass in repositioning over the past 2 years. Just as a quick overview, if you aren't super tuned in with what's been going on with Gunna in this whole YSL case, he has managed to successfully transform from a controversial figure to a wellness advocate and community leader while maintaining his quality.
I will say, I think rappers be automatically thinking they gotta like connect themselves to this like hood street culture, like to try to make it in rap. That's why I think we find a lot of frauds, because they feel like they have to be a big rapper. You have to be hood, you have to be street. And he's showing that you don't have to be. And he's bigger than he ever been. This is a example that you don't have to literally be aligned with the streets.
Of music post incarceration. And when I say controversial figure, I don't necessarily mean Gunna himself was controversial. I just mean that the situation surrounding Gunna was very controversial, with the whole snitching and all those kinds of allegations that were laid onto him. And in my opinion, he's performing a live demonstration of how you can strategically flip from crisis management to sustained commercial success and still maintain cultural relevance, even if it appears negative to your peers but not the audience. So again, you can have folks in your industry that are hating on you or don't want you to succeed, but as long as your friends, family, and your audience are on board and speaking positively of you and what you're putting out, then none of it really matters. And unless you've been living under
regular people don't care about snitching. I promise. It's more people who don't care about snitching than people who do. Yeah, to me, it's just all stupid. I don't know. I don't even think he snitched, because he's not. I don't think he's hood. Maybe I don't know him enough. Y'all comment below. Maybe I don't have enough information. I don't think he snitched. And then what's crazy is that they found out Young Thug did it. Yeah, Young Thug also did it. I don't know. It's so much, man. Y'all just continue watching.
Rock, I'm sure you know at least some of the stuff that's going on in this YSL case with Gunna, Young Thug, and a couple of other YSL members. But as a quick summary, Gunna made a out for plea deal in December of 2022, which in theory would let him maintain innocence while accepting guilt. Now, anytime you see this word plea deal get thrown around in the rap and hip hop culture, you're automatically labeled a snitch, right? That's why I said in theory it should maintain innocence, but in all actuality, the whole industry is pretty much labeled Gunna as a rat and a snitch. Now, this led to him only serving 7 months of time served, plus he got a 4-year suspended sentence with community service. And in my eyes, this decision proved important as it freed him to begin his immediate comeback while Young Thug and others still remained in jail for another 2 years after he struck that plea deal. Now, this allowed him to get the edge with the fans because he had a 2-year runway for him to kind of operate in his new lane and reposition himself as someone that was a healed soul or a wellness advocate or someone that was purely focusing on trying to be the best version of themselves. Gunna has really hit the gold mine in terms of rebranding and repositioning himself into this health and wellness industry. And as a side note, I really want you guys to see just how bad Gunna had it coming out of jail. We see here in this January 18, 2023 article, so about 2 months after he was released, kind of summarizing exactly where his personal brand was at the time when he was released, where the headline reads, "The court screwed Gunna and now he's being shunned by his peers. The rapper finds himself squeezed between the criminal justice system and the rap world."
He's bigger than every rapper that shunned him. He's bigger than every rapper that shunned him at that time. But shout out to Young Thug. I will say I grew up on Young Thug. I'm from Atlanta and I grew up on Young Thug. So I never talk bad about Young Thug. I love Slime Season 1, Slime Season 2 is literally like my childhood for real, like all through high school. So don't take this like, oh, he's just this and this and that. I'm just saying I don't think Gunna is I never seen him as just like a street dude for real.
Neither of which is as humane as it claims to be. And then the article goes on to say the arrest of Young Thug, Gunna, and other YSL associates in last May's RICO case elicited a unified response from within the rap world, right? Fans and other musicians resoundingly proclaimed free Gunna, free Young Thug when they first went in, but after his release in December following the Alfred plea deal that gave him time served and a 5-year suspended sentence, few people in the rap world celebrated. Since footage of the Georgia plea hearing leaked and the world saw him affirm Fulton County prosecutors assertion that YSL is a gang and YSL must end, he's been deemed as a snitch. YSL members, as well as other rappers like Polo G, Meek Mill, Lil Baby, Lil Durk, have all unfollowed him on Instagram, and fans believe they've been throwing slide disses at him in certain verses and whatnot. But this is a great example of what him and his team was faced with when they came out of jail and just how bad they had it in the industry. Because one thing you got to keep in mind is that if you're labeled with that snitch or that rat in the hip hop industry, you might as well kiss your career goodbye, because that's damn near the death kiss. And if you don't believe me, go ahead and ask 6ix9ine. Now, the beautiful thing about Gunna's situation is that even after all that, his post-release success was monumental in his resurgence back to relevancy. He achieved 6 consecutive #1 debuts on the R&B hip-hop charts post-comeback. We have this Billboard headline that says, "Last to first, Gunna earns his 6th #1 on top of R&B and hip-hop albums chart." He has also generated over 1 billion streams for his comeback single, Fuck You Mean. And this was essentially his first single post-jail after the Bread and Butter single. And we can see on his YouTube page that this song has over 100 million plays just on YouTube. So the music has honestly played a key pivotal role in Gunna seeing a resurgence in his career. He's also sold out arena tours across North America after facing backlash and snitching allegations. And this is all happening while his own peers, his own YSL members, and other people that he considers friends are labeling him with that big snitch word and trying to blackball him from the industry, or just not even speaking on his name at all. Now, there is a whole timeline of the Young Thug, YSL, Gunna drama that I'm not going to get into in this video, just because I want to focus purely on the step-by-step rebrand of Gunna. But if you are curious, you can go get this presentation in the description below. Then you can feel free to click on this Billboard article or go ahead and search it up on YouTube. There's literally hundreds of videos to pick from. Now, I keep mentioning Young Thug because I hope that this video gets enough love to where I can make my own video on the downfall of Young Thug's personal brand post his release, because it's really,
if these rappers just let go of that hood rap, this and this and all that, they can be, I mean, some of them already superstars, but Gunna, him and Young Thug could have made so much money together. I'm not gonna lie. The whole YSL, if they would have just came out and I don't know,
a masterclass in how not to come out of jail. Sky's the limit for Young Thug to go, and he literally went the absolute wrong way. I do not know who's on his team and who's telling him to do these kind of things, but just for a quick example, he's been running around doing these weird ass podcast appearances. He's been shooting off random tweets that he deletes a couple hours later. He's been begging for his friends to call him back. He's even made a song apologizing to everyone that he did wrong on the leaked jail calls that have been going viral over the past month or so. And he's been dropping some very strange music, where he just dropped an album literally the other day. It was like a shadow drop almost of him being white or light skinned on the cover. It's not making any sense. It honestly makes him look a little bit weird.
Somebody please explain that to me. What's the significance of him looking white? Maybe I'm missing something. I don't understand why he did that. Y'all comment below.
We're a little bit off, but you know, at the end of the day, it is Young Thug. He did build YSL. He is a media mogul at this point. Now, Gunna's strategy has essentially been a polar opposite, a complete contrast to what Young Thug is doing. He's pretty much stayed silent. He stayed out the way. He hasn't made any real public announcement or any statement regarding the situation. He's always wished love. He's pretty much been a stoic throughout this process, and that's honestly the right way to go about it. So he stuck to the music. He's honestly leaned into women, and that being more of his target audience now, since he's not really making music for the Atlanta drill scene. And obviously the big one is he chose health, wellness, and growth as his new angle, which right now in 2025 is a great angle to choose because it's reaching massive heights. And we see that all over Instagram, all over Twitter, all over all social media, where health and wellness influencers are really on the rise right now. So now that we got that out the way, we can finally talk about the 3-step formula to Gunna's surgence. So again, while everyone was focused on the drama, Gunna was locked in on a strategic framework to set himself up as untouchable in the industry. And I really want you guys to focus in on this part because this is where you can start taking some of the value and then applying it to your own brand, personal brand, whatever it is. So step 1 is a visible proof of change. You want a physical transformation and lifestyle shifts that cannot be denied. Right. Step number 2 is you need to frame the new narrative, right? You need strategic storytelling that positions the transformation. And last but not least, we have step 3 where we need to secure market validation, partnerships and collaborations that cement the new position that you were vying for. So let's understand where Gunna was at before he went into his reposition. So he was featured on Crime Stoppers. I remember that this was going somewhat viral. He was already almost labeled a snitch because he went on some Crime Stoppers TV show and was basically helping this investigative crew figure out who murdered his cousin, I believe. So people were already trying to say Gunna was a snitch. He was also viewed as Young Thug's little brother, right? So if somebody back in the day saw Gunna, they would quickly be like, okay, well, where's Young Thug at, right? Like his name didn't carry the weight that it did now. He was just kind of Young Thug's side piece. He was just a YSL member, another YSL member. He was essentially the beta within the relationship. He was also even back then pushing the whole fashion agenda, the fashion narrative. Like he wanted to be a fashionista, he was putting shit on back in the day, right? He's still doing that to this day, but back then when you're chunky, you're overweight, you drink lean and shit, it just doesn't hit the same, right? And we see here iconic photo that Rihanna put on for Halloween. This got millions and millions of views.
Even though his career is definitely great, I'm not with that fashion. Like, I don't know if I'm getting older or maybe I'm not a rapper or anything like that. I don't like this whole new fashion. Like, look at that. I don't know if those the boots that's coming that high or the pants got cut in the middle, but I never understand the fashion.
And people were kind of laughing at Gunna, and he took the joke well, but this kind of gives you a sense of like what people thought of him, right? Just a big wide body kid that made decent music but was just Young Thug's side piece and like spent a lot of money on clothes that didn't really fit him well. So Gunna's original brand image was problematic. He was seen as secondary to Young Thug, lacking his own distinct identity and respect in the industry. And this obviously had a myriad of public perception challenges where the industry was very uncertain of who Gunna was. There were tons of rumors flying around as to who Gunna is. Is he a snitch? Is he not? And the industry began to distance himself once they were both in jail and once the idea of the plea deal coming out was set on the table. So the brand after the reposition, Gunna, aka The Last One, right? And this is his album that he just dropped called The Last One. He had the silent strategy, which I've been speaking about. He chose to stay silent and not say much. Remaining silent was actually very strategic and classy in my opinion. He had this approach of y'all can take it how you want to take it. I'm healing or I'm healed at this point. I'm gonna fall back and let y'all tap in with me when y'all good and ready, right? He also had the comeback where he dropped Fuck You Mean. He had great album reviews since then. People have been playing his music over and over again, proving that the silence and focus can beat the chaos. Now this was a very risky play, right? Because potential industry backballing and career limitations could have kept going if he had too many consecutive missteps upon his release. So what do I mean by that? He could have got out here and went on 1,000 different podcasts. He could have made 1,000 different statements. He could have tweeted 1,000 different times. He could have done a lot of stuff to fuck up the perception from the industry, from his peers, and from the fans if he just went out and just was telling everybody, I ain't no snitch, I ain't did this and this, niggas ain't real, and woo, 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 all the shit, right? But he didn't chose to do that. He chose to stick to the music for the most part, do a couple of interviews that were centered around the music, and make compelling endorsements and sponsorship deals that would align with his new image. And he also dropped an album called The Last One that was supposed to be the last one on the YSL label. This implies that this is the last of the old Gunna and that he has reached the crescendo of his evolution, right? Like he's pretty much much saying Gunna is in the past. That was the last one. This new Gunna that y'all see, this is for me. This is, you know, this is the new Gunna. This is the new and improved Gunna. So getting back into those 3 steps, we have pillar 1, which is that visible proof of change, right? So we need social proof and behavioral evidence. This leverages the psychological principle that people believe what they can see and verify themselves, making the transformation undeniable. That's the important part of the visible proof of change step, is that you want to make the transformation undeniable. Visual evidence creates cognitive anchoring. When audiences can physically observe change, it overrides skepticism and builds instant credibility for the new brand positioning. And now he's all about his fitness grind. He has a personal trainer. He's in the lab. He's cooking. He's trying to get to his best self, right? Who is going to root against that? Nobody, right? Everybody wants to be the best version of themselves, and you can't be mad at Gunna trying to do the same. So the key principle here is,
I'm not gonna lie, I'm on the same journey right now. Personally, I'm trying to be the best version of myself. I'm personally trying to be the best version of myself, and I feel like that's probably the best thing I done did in my life. Cause even like with this YouTube, like I hopped back on YouTube. I started working out every day. Like I'm just trying to be the best man I could be, and that really changed your life. And it's not even, I feel like fitness is not the most important thing, but when you can stick to one thing, it make you want to stick to everything. So fitness is just like a pillar, you know, and it's the easiest one. Like, you know, you can go for a run, you can do whatever you got to do, and it bleeds into all aspects of your life. If you want to get your life together, need a better monster, just start working out, and you're gonna feel it, and you're gonna look different. People see it. Like, ain't no cheating working out. People see it. They will see your transformation.
The undeniable proof of discipline in Gunna's example, but you want the undeniable proof of something, right? Of the undeniable proof of consistency, the undeniable proof of discipline, the undeniable proof of trust, of honesty, whatever it is, right? You just want it to be undeniable. And the takeaway for all you creators out there is that your reposition needs some sort of anchor in the form of proof, right? Make it visible so people cannot deny the change. That's huge. Now, step 2, pillar 2, framing the new narrative, okay? Strategic storytelling and semantic anchoring. The album title, the last one, uses a narrative framing to create a clear before and after story that audiences can easily understand and share. This taps into the marketing principle that humans process information through stories, and giving the transformation a name makes it memorable and repeatable. So I mean, Gunna has done a lot of stuff over the past couple of months now. He's introduced his Run Club. He's had the album, the last one. He's had partnerships with Under Armour. I mean, honestly, the list goes on and on and on. He and his team have done a great job of framing the new narrative of Gunna. So the key insight that I have for y'all here is, don't just say you changed, frame it and document it and explain what this new you is, whether it be through music, content, an essay. I don't give a fuck what it is, but just explain to the audience and take them along this ride, because they want to be taken along. And last but not least is pillar 3, securing market validation. He had international collaborations on his last album, the last one, with partnerships like Burna Boy, WizKid, and Asake position.
I will say that was a good move too, working with international artists and getting a whole new, like, that Africa scene is crazy. And for him just like to tap into that, whoever his team is need a raise. Like, if I was Gunna, whoever the team or whoever gave me this advice, I would have to give them a raise. And I think he signed a Young Thug, so it's like, you know, who's telling him this? You're on Young Thug's label. Maybe he did it himself. I don't know, but whoever did it, they need a raise.
Himself as a global talent, not just Atlanta based anymore. He also had the Under Armour partnership that I talked about, where he starred in a commercial alongside of Justin Jefferson, positioning himself as an athlete level figure of discipline, or positioning himself as like somewhat of an athlete, right? As someone that takes health and wellness seriously. And now that he's done this collab with Under Armour, he even has his own page on their website where he has some of his favorite looks. And I would not be shocked if they go in and have a new Gunna signature line with an emphasis kind of on the streetwear but athletic leisure side. And the strategic positioning that him and his team did here was that they went from controversial rapper to an athlete level figure of discipline, and these moves unlock new markets, partners, and revenue streams, which is huge, right? Especially for someone in Gunna's case who doesn't have the backbone from his label anymore. He's creating his own revenue streams and branching outside of rap, which is amazing. And a contrast example of this is, again, I keep hating to beat up on 6ix9ine, but this is why 6ix9ine's rebrands attempts haven't worked as effectively, right? They lack authentic proof and validation from the market around him. So just as a summary, the 3-step formula is show the proof, frame the story, and secure the validation from the market, from the audience, from partnerships, whatever it may be, okay? So while all brand elements must align to tell one cohesive story, you can't position yourself as someone trying to become their best self while doing the opposite, right? Self-explanatory, but it needs to be said. He couldn't come out, gain all the way back, or challenge anyone who tried to shame his name. Consistency is everything. How you come out is how you should remain when you're doing a reposition. So now I feel like Gunna has kind of protected himself against the industry politics, where he's kind of untouchable at this point, right? Like, why would anyone or any other artist speak on Gunna currently? So let's say you don't agree with him and you think he's a snitch. You come out and say that, you make that statement. Now you're gonna get hate because what you're essentially saying is that you don't like someone trying to pursue their best selves, right? Because the audience has already spoke. We still like the creation behind the artist, right? If you were to speak on him and talk down, you're essentially saying, I don't give a fuck how good or how well he's doing in life, or how well he's getting things back in motion for himself. He's a snitch, so therefore I can't fuck with him. That's just, it's not a smart move. If you're an artist in the industry, you might as well just stay silent. So if you speak on him, then you're risking having people prey on your own demise because you don't like seeing someone do very well.
Right.
It is very important to understand the difference between rebranding and repositioning, right? This is a playbook for reposition, but it's important to understand the difference between the two. So rebranding, right? Well, the definition of rebranding can be viewed as a complete overhaul of a brand's identity, name, visuals, and core message. It also is a transformation of the brand promise and perception, and it's a strategic revamp. It touches every aspect of the brand or of the person that is doing the rebrand. Up here, we have the Burger King timeline of where they started out to where they are now in terms of a brand image and relogo. The key principles of a rebrand is that it goes beyond surface level changes, okay? It requires complete identity shifts, and it is a methodical process. It involves careful planning and execution, okay? So this is not just something that you just wake up one day and say, yeah, I'm rebranded, okay? It's going to be a strategic process. Usually it involves a lot of mood boards. It involves a lot of thinking, a lot of contemplating, to where you can set yourself up for a perfect rebrand because it needs multiple touch points. So for some very large corporations that have went under a rebrand, I chose both Nike and McDonald's, right? McDonald's because they went from a fast food to a quality, somewhat health conscious approach. Now, I'm not trying to say McDonald's is trying to be.
If y'all believe that McDonald's care about your health, I think you need a rebrand. I think you need a re-evaluation. Because McDonald's ain't. No. I mean, they'll lie and say it. And I'm not going to say they have zero healthy options, but come on now, let's be real. Ain't nothing healthy on that menu for real. Except like the apples, maybe some apple juice. But I love McDonald's though, I'm not gonna lie.
Some kind of leader in the health industry, but they have definitely taken on the approach that people are starting to care about what is in their food. And you can see here that from being solely a purveyor of cheap, unhealthy fast food to a brand that emphasizes quality ingredients, customizable options, and a more health conscious approach, McDonald's has included new menu overhauls, restaurant modernizations, and marketing campaigns that focus on freshness and sourcing. Now it's definitely cap, right? But what they're doing here is they're trying to rebrand to a more health conscious fast food chain. And then we have Nike, right, which is one of the biggest rebrands in my opinion, because they went from what was purely just a performance running shoe to encompassing to a lifestyle and cultural rebrand.
Y'all see everything about marketing and how Gunna saved his rebrand. Rebrand your life, okay? Care about y'all. I want y'all to rebrand. I'm rebranding mine. We rebranding this channel. We trying to run up to 1 million. Y'all tap in, man. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see y'all on the next video.